Oh man, these are some good historical truths that cannot be denied. All right, friends, welcome once again to Looking Live. We're gonna check out this discussion here. It was sent to me. Professor instantly regrets battling, I think his name is Souza, over racism, friends. So we're gonna get into the heart of this thing. Please stay tuned. If you happen to be new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon to be notified from our upcoming videos. Comment below, put your recommendation below. Now, let's get to it without further ado. Let's take a listen to this discussion here, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna learn something amazing from this. So, hey, without further ado, let's get to the heart of this message.
Aren't you insulting all the intelligent people here and the 80% of African Americans who are Democrats by claiming that the current Democratic Party has anything to do with that Dixiecrat party from 50 years ago that was trying to stop them from voting? Aren't you conflating the word Democrat with progressive? They have utterly nothing to do with each other. The current Democratic Party has absolutely none of those values from 50 years ago, and you're pretending that they are guilty of something. Aren't you trying to claim that Jesse Jackson is a dupe and shouldn't be supporting the Democratic Party because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican and freed the slaves?
The Democratic Party was the party of the Dixiecrats.
That is actually such a strong statement. Strong question, by the way, that he just asked them here. But I'm anxious to see how he answers that.
The Democratic Party was the party of the Dixiecrats all the way through the 60s. And if what you say is true, that the blacks made a switch to their racial friends, it would appear that the black switch would have to come in the 70s and 80s, when blacks see these racists are now moving over there, so it makes sense for us to move over here. But in reality, blacks moved overwhelmingly to the Democratic Party in the 1930s. The black vote went from about 15% Democratic to about 70% Democratic within 4 years.
Places they could vote.
That's right, but
Which was the North.
also in the...
Republican. Jackie Robinson was a Republican for darn good reason.
That's absolutely right. But here's what I'm getting at.
Wouldn't be today.
I should allow him to speak, right? You asked the question already.
Darn good reason.
That's absolutely right. But here's what I'm getting at.
Wouldn't be today.
Well, we can debate Jackie Robinson because it's always difficult to know what dead people would say. If Martin Luther King were alive today, Martin Luther King isn't alive today. Okay, but here's the point.
He's doing a good job answering that, you know. He's dodging some of the questions. He's answering the questions while he's sticking to his point. Well done.
Getting at. The reason that blacks switched from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party had everything to do with the benefits of the New Deal and nothing to do with racism. In fact...
Oh, wait a minute. What? His name is what, Souza? What did he say about the New Deal? What is the New Deal?
The benefits of the New Deal and nothing to do with racism. In fact... Yes, and in the South, two blacks switched to the Democratic Party. It's not that blacks couldn't vote in the South. It's that there were all kinds of barriers to black voting. Under FDR, there was blacks couldn't vote in the South at all. No blacks voted in the South.
Very, very few.
How many?
Absolutely.
How many?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought so. Look,
Good.
there were all kinds of poll taxes and barriers imposed by the Democrats on the black vote until the Democrats realized that they could get the black vote by offering jobs, welfare, retirement programs. Are you telling me that FDR in the South was telling blacks who were voting for the Democrats, you can't vote? Not true. Not true. Blacks in the North and the South switched to the Democratic Party because of New Deal benefits. Many of them were very sad about doing it because they were leaving the party of emancipation and Lincoln and flinging themselves into the party of the Ku Klux Klan and the Dixiecrats who were in the South and were in the Democratic...
Oh, no. He just blew my mind. What a historical truth. It does make sense. I have heard even the KKK were supported by the Democratic Party. Yeah. Oh man, I need to hear that again. He just blew my mind. He just flipped the table here. He did what something Jesus did when he went in the temple and saw all this crazy stuff being happening. Jesus started flipping the table. Well, that's what he's doing. He's flipping the history on his head, but it's not really history that he's flipping here. He's flipping the false history that we have been taught on his head.
Leaving the party of emancipation and Lincoln and flinging themselves into the party of the Ku Klux Klan and the Dixiecrats who were in the South and were in the Democratic Party. Exactly. So what I'm saying is it was a Faustian bargain in which you get economic benefits and at the same time you're in bed with the racists and you're on your own team.
Oh! Every black person, colored person, I don't care who you are, you need to listen to this speech. This is extremely amazing.
Economic benefits and at the same time you're in bed with the racists and you're on your own team.
You kidding?
And I'm saying that's American history. Now, whites began to switch to the Republican Party, but much later. Whites began to switch to the Republican Party in droves in the 70s and 80s. Now, here's the point. If you look at racial opinion in the South, and there's a voluminous body of data on this, as racism in the South dramatically declines, the Southern identification with the Republican Party begins to increase. There's an opposite track. Racism is declining in the South, and whites begin to move to the Republican Party. In fact, two scholars who've written a book about this trace that the least racist Southerners all became Republicans. That the racist, the poor white racist Democrat never became a Republican. He was a dug-in Democrat to the end of his days. So the Democratic Party remained the party of racism. And as the South...
What? Woo! Uh-huh. You gotta be kidding. That's not what we've been told. At least that's not what I've heard. What? I fell for it too. You are serious right now? Yeah, that is crazy.
Racist Democrat never became a Republican. He was a dug-in Democrat to the end of his days. So the Democratic Party remained the party of racism. And as the South became less agrarian, more prosperous, industry came to the South, the post-industrial society, the Republican appeal of equal opportunity, free markets, prosperity, appealed to Southerners. And that's why they... So what I'm getting at is that the progressives have sold the South on a guilt trip. Even this whole thing about, the Civil War was really about slavery and the South did slavery. Wait a minute. Again, the Northern Democrats protected slavery. The Civil War, the fight over slavery was between the Democratic Party, North and South, that protected it, and the Republican Party, which only was in the North, that opposed it. That's what that fight was about. It wasn't just... The North-South thing is now a disguise to hide the responsibility of a major political party that was the party of slavery for...
Is he serious? What was it about? What was it?
Slavery. The Civil War, the fight over slavery was between the Democratic Party, North and South, that protected it, and the Republican Party, which only was in the North, that opposed it. That's what...
Did you hear that? That is crazy. Pastor James is blown away by the truth. And this stuff, I can tell it is true. I've gotten bits and pieces of that historical stuff he's talking about. He just painted the picture correctly for me here. And I'm like, yeah, brother, you on point. I know what you're saying. It does make sense. And I think the black vote has been hijacked.
What that fight was about. It wasn't just... The North-South thing is now a disguise to hide the responsibility of a major political party that was the party of slavery for 100 years.
Wow.
True or false?
True or false, he said. First of all, I want to acknowledge the content. The content was great. The message was powerful. I might be saying his name wrong. Suja. Very balanced historical truth he has here, and it sounds like it's not even It's like an Indian speech kind of Dennis Souza. But anyway, I don't necessarily care where he's from, who he is, but he seems that he has a balanced perspective on these things. We have to agree, at least. Very powerful stuff, man. I have to agree. This was amazing historical narrative in ways I have never heard it before. Sochuda is undeniable. I think the black race certainly do need to rethink their historical reasons for being part of the Democratic Party. I am not voting saying you should all become Republicans. I think people are entitled to make their decisions, but nevertheless, you should have good enough reasons for making that decision, for choosing to be part of this or that group. Or if you choose to stand still, like I choose to be an independent, and I choose to keep quiet when it comes to my perspective on these things. But nevertheless, I have my leaning, I have my backing, I have my reasons, which I have not openly shared. But the thing is, I certainly agree with this. I love the historical message, the way he answered the question. He wrote through that really nice. And the historical research, again, whenever you give me history in that way, you're always gonna get me. I'm a lover of history because I love to study Bible prophecy, and I think this is so good. This is so good. And I think if more people had a better understanding about that, I think yeah, so many people wouldn't be swayed from left or right just because they are told to do so. And I love this, and I want to share a biblical perspective here very quickly. One in particular is the art of deception. I think there's been so much deception even in political realm when it comes to voting and the historical facts. And I think the black race, the colored folks, we have been deceived. And I think all cultures, all races, and somewhat have experienced deception, but I think particularly we have been deceived in so many different ways. Listen to what it says here. Jesus is talking about signs of the time, and it tells you, it says, because many, here it is right there. I could say so much more, but listen to this one. Now they asked Jesus, what are the signs of your coming in at the end of the world? How do we know we are close to the second coming of Christ? In verse 4 of Matthew 24, Jesus says, take heed that no man deceive you. He said this, man. So, and it tells you that these deceptions will come from people who comes and say, I am Christ, I'm of Jesus, right? And shall do what to many? Deceive many. So, with that being said, be aware of deception. And I think we should be careful with religious deception. People who say, I'm a Christian, follow me, I'm a prophet, like Jim Jones and these guys, and Marshall Applewhite and all these funny looking fellows who came on the scene and saying, I have this Messiah complex and I'm ready to save you if you follow me and follow my church, join my cult. Watch out for them. But also watch out for political deceptions. We also do have politicians who like to twist history for their own purpose as well. They visit our neighborhood and they come and show us love and care and compassion when it's time for the election. But once they got elected, they are nowhere to be found, and twisted us and give us a twisted version of history, and which is not a very good thing either. That's why I would encourage you to read and study and research and dig for yourself. Be the kind of person that you can be. Educate yourself, okay? Autodialectic, like they call it. Teach yourself the facts and also confirm it with good historical, back it up with good historical knowledge, and make decisions for yourself and for your family. Be careful, let no man deceive you. But I will also add, read your Bible and pray every day. Beyond what other books may teach you, remember, not every man knows everything. So that's why you need to go to God, who is the source of all knowledge and understanding and truth. Allow him to give you wisdom from the word of God. Anyway, thank you so much for this content. Powerful. Love the message. It makes a lot of sense to me if you were to ask me. And I thank yeah, there's some things to be said here, and I appreciate the message. I love what is happening here. Yeah, man, so much historical truth, undeniable truth, and I'm so glad that I was able to hear this and learn so much. But to top it off, don't be deceived. Get knowledge, get wisdom and understanding for yourself, so you can make decision for yourself and for your family, and you can make decision that has really good historical backing behind that, because it's based on experience and knowledge that you've gained over time. Appreciate that. Love the content. Thank you for checking that out with me. Like and subscribe to the page, and click the bell icon as well, so you can get more of my notification uploads. Until next time, look unto Jesus, live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.